The third major presentation component are feature areas. Feature areas are areas within the store that are designed to get the customer's attention. So what we're going to do is talk about a few of these areas and how they are most commonly used. Windows are one of the largest display areas that a store has to use at their advantage. Window displays draw customers into the store, and they can provide a visual message about the type of merchandise that the customer is going to find. So you'll often see clean, bright designs with some of the newest merchandise options available in the store. Windows can also be used for napping. Another feature area for a store is the store entrance. The entrance is the first impression that a customer is going to get about your retail store, and so it can have a large impact on that customer's image of the overall store. Fun fact about store entrances: the first 10 feet of any retail store is known as the decompression zone. It's called the decompression zone because customers are making an adjustment to being inside a new environment. And so the decompression zone is generally kept clear of any merchandise or sales associates or cash wraps. The reason being is that the customer needs a minute to adjust, and they might not be paying attention to what's in that area. Customers might be escaping a crowded mall. They might be closing their umbrella if it's raining outside. They're putting their car keys away. They're trying to wrangle their kids. Lots of things could be happening. So keeping that first 10 feet pretty empty and open is usually a good idea. Another feature area would be your mannequins. Mannequins are a lifelike representation of the human body, and they are used for displaying apparel. Mannequins are no longer bald, shiny white plastic space holders. Today, they are made to really look like a human, and they can be used to help personify your brand. So they can offer an ideal image of what you will look like if you purchase the product. And so we no longer just see pieces of clothing on mannequins, but we see actual outfits. We see outfits with accessories and shoes and handbags and sunglasses. And we often see both a male and female mannequin together if it's a multi-apparel store. Sometimes we see a whole family of mannequins to really try to personify what that brand is. So mannequins can be used as a feature area. A few other feature areas just to add to our conversation. The first is an end cap. An end cap is displayed at the end of an aisle in the stores, and they're most commonly used with the grid layout. And so what retailers do is they're going to put their high margin products on these end caps or some impulse products. They could also put some sale merchandise or merchandise that's on clearance. And the reason that retailers like to use end caps is because product sales increase dramatically when they're featured on end caps. And so consumers, as they're shopping, will grab a few things off the end cap to add to their cart. Dressing rooms are another feature area. Dressing rooms are critical spaces within the store because it's often the place where shoppers make their decision on whether or not they're going to purchase an item. So retailers have begun to compete aggressively on the quality of their dressing room by adding special lighting. They put mirrors in there. They paint them unique colors. Some dressing rooms have televisions in them. Some dressing rooms have couches and seats and places to hang your purse, or even places to hang your clothes that you're wearing while you're trying things on. So fun fact about dressing rooms, 2 out of 3 customers will buy something that they try on. And this is compared to the 1 out of 10 people who will buy something after looking at it on a shelf. And so if you can get that customer into the dressing room, they are much more likely to purchase the product. So dressing rooms become a very important feature area for the retailer. The last one I would like to bring to your attention is the cash wrap. So the cash wrap is also known as the point of purchase counter or the checkout area, where the customer is waiting in line to actually make their purchase. And many customers have to wait in line when they're at a retail store. So retailers can use the cash wrap as a feature area to display impulse purchase items such as candy or beverages, magazines. Sometimes you'll see things like chapstick and gum Some small children's toys are found at the cash wrap, and those are all to encourage customers to add a few more things to their shopping cart while they are waiting to get to the cash register. So a lot of these feature areas are going to help us meet that store objective of increasing sales on every visit. So think about some of the retailers that you've shopped at and think about the different feature areas that you've seen and how they've been used. And if you can think of any unique ones, please share them with us in the Chapter 17 discussion board. So the next topic for Chapter 17 is space management and how we locate different merchandise categories in our store. Space is one of the most scarce resources in a retail establishment. And so one key measurement that retailers look at is what we call sales per square foot. And so we want to use every square foot of space to make a sale. And that's not always possible because we have to make room for fitting rooms and dressing rooms. We have to make room for benches and chairs and seats. We have to make room for aisleways. We have to make room for the cash registers. We have to make room for our sales associates to stand amongst the merchandise. So we can't always use every inch of space for merchandise that we can sell. And so we have to try to use the space that we have very effectively. And it's the job of the store manager to determine how to best use the space available. And there's a few key decisions that a retail store manager has to make with the location of merchandise. So let's talk about a few types of merchandise and where the best place to put it within the retail store is. First thing to note is that in Western culture, people enter the stores and turn right. And so they're generally going to walk the store right to left. So they're going to take a big loop going right first. And so knowing that and understanding that does help guide some decision making. So if we think about specific products, the first product to consider would be our demand merchandise or our promotional merchandise. And this refers to products that customers have already decided to buy when they go into the store. So demand merchandise is generally placed throughout the store, but not necessarily near each other. So if you think of demand merchandise at a supermarket, that might be bread and milk. So where are the bread and milk in the Milledgeville Kroger? Well, the bread and milk are not located near each other, first of all. So the consumer does have to walk to different parts of the store. The milk is located in the back left-hand corner. And given that consumers generally enter a store and turn right, the consumer is going to have to walk almost all of the store to get to that demand piece of merchandise. Why does a retailer place demand merchandise near the back of the store? The reason is because they know that the customer came in to buy that piece of merchandise, and so they're hoping that the customer will walk through the rest of the store and pick up a few more things as well. So demand merchandise is generally located near the back of the store, and related demand merchandise is not placed near each other. The same thing goes for promotional merchandise. If you think about a Target or a Walmart, where do they keep their sale merchandise or their seasonal merchandise? It's generally in the back of the store. Again, if customers are going to look for the sale merchandise or the seasonal merchandise, they're going to have to walk past everything else first. What about impulse merchandise? Where do we put that? Impulse merchandise are small items that consumers might not necessarily have planned to buy, but could add to their cart. So impulse merchandise needs to be placed near a high traffic area. So impulse merchandise is generally placed near the cash wrap. Impulse merchandise is also placed near escalators and elevators in multi-level stores, because you might have to wait to get on the elevator or wait to get on the escalator, and so you might pick up a few things while you're there. Let's talk about a few types of special merchandise. So women's lingerie is a type of special merchandise. And if you have purchased women's lingerie and you've gone to a store to do that, you might have noted that it's located in a remote part of the store. And that is generally to offer a more private and calm buying experience. So within a department store or within a full-line discount store, women's lingerie is located in a more secluded area because of the type of merchandise it is. Another type of special merchandise is furniture. Furniture requires a lot of space, and so generally retailers who sell furniture are going to place it in the back half of the store because consumers are generally looking for that, and so they are willing to go to the back of the store to seek it out. Curtains are a type of special merchandise. Think about some stores you've been into and think about where curtains are located. They're always located on or near a wall, and that's because we can hang them up and display them in their full glory. Shoes are a type of special merchandise. Shoes in the shoe department within a store are always located near a stock room because you can't keep multiple pairs of shoes in every size and every color and every style on your sales floor. There's just not enough space. So retailers tend to locate the shoe department near a stock room for easy access to the rest of the product. So think about some other types of special merchandise and where they tend to locate within a store. And if you can think of any other merchandise categories that require a specific location, tell us about them in the discussion boards for Chapter 17. All right, so there's one last topic we need to cover in Chapter 17, and that is atmospherics. So creating an appealing store atmosphere is a critical piece of store presentation. And so atmospherics refers to the design of an environment by stimulating the five senses. So if we think about sight and hearing and taste and touch, they're all part of the store atmosphere. So let's talk about sight and how a retailer can appeal to the sense of sight. Lighting is very important. Good lighting is more than just being able to illuminate a space. So light is used to highlight merchandise. Highlighting merchandise with light can create a sense of excitement. Sometimes it can provide an accurate color rendition of the merchandise. I've mentioned before, but I worked in the paint industry. And so in our paint stores, we often had to put signs up that say, color may differ depending on the light in your home. But some of our stores, we were able to get special lighting to help try to give the consumer a better idea of what that product would actually look like. You can also use lighting for mood creation. So fashion boutiques often lower their lighting to coordinate with the overall ambience of the store. Think about a Hollister or an Abercrombie. You can barely see the merchandise when you walk in there, right? It's so dark. But if you think about a discount store like a Walmart, or you think about a category specialist like Old Navy, those are using brighter, less expensive fluorescent lighting, and it helps create the mood. Okay. So color is another way to appeal to the sense of sight. So color can have a large impact on the customer's mood in the store. Think about Old Navy. You use a lot of bright colors to kind of make it more exciting, whereas like an Anthropologie is going to use more muted, natural colors to help set the store atmosphere. Generally speaking, warm colors like red, gold, and yellow produce a very emotional, vibrant, and active response from the customer, whereas cool colors like white and blue and green can have a very peaceful, calming effect. So depending on the mood of your store and your retail strategy, you're going to use a different set of colors to help set the mood. Let's talk about sound. Music can both add and detract from a retailer's total atmospheric package. Most shoppers notice the music and they're going to leave if they don't like it. I always think about Aeropostale and how when I was in middle school, my mom hated going into that store because the music was loud, it was pop, it was just not her style. But it was perfect for that middle school shopper that I was at the time. So music is set to target a specific group of shoppers and create a specific atmosphere. The good thing about music, too, is that if it's not working, it can very easily be changed. You can play different music at different times of the day. So maybe more calm, soothing music in the morning and more upbeat music in the afternoon. Retailers will often change their music to be seasonal. So you can play holiday-specific music in your store to help create a specific environment. Let's talk about scent. Smell can also impact a shopper's mood and emotions. Studies show that consumers spend more time in unscented stores than they do in scented stores. However, if the scent is used well, if scent is used well in the store, it can actually increase purchases. So, fun fact about retailing: retailers will often pipe smells into their store. So if you've ever walked through a holiday section in a store, you might notice the scent of cinnamon or pine. And so retailers can actually pipe those scents in to get you in the mood. In a bathing suit area, they might pipe in the scent of suntan lotion to get you thinking about the beach and summer. Some retail stores and merchandise categories exude their own smell to help with the scent. So the baby section of a full-line discount store or department store sometimes smells like baby powder and diapers, clean diapers, because that's just the smell coming from the packaging. If you walk past a Cinnabon, you're of course going to get that scent of cinnamon, or any food retailer generally has their own scent coming out. So scent can really impact a customer's mood. And I have a video on scent marketing that I'm going to post in the Chapter 17 content folder for you to watch to see how retailers actually work with scientists to develop retail-specific scents. So what about taste? Taste is the most difficult sense to appeal to since customers aren't normally licking the walls like they do in Willy Wonka. So how do retailers appeal to the sense of taste? Well, some retailers are going to offer a store restaurant or a coffee bar. Some retailers offer some free samples. Other retailers will sell chocolates at the register to try to include taste into their atmosphere. So how exciting should your store be? Well, ultimately, it all depends on the type of store you are and what your customers' shopping goals are. So think back to those utilitarian versus hedonic needs and benefits. You have to use that to consider how exciting your store should be. So one thing you could do is think about your favorite retailer and think about how they use different combinations of atmospherics to appeal to their shoppers. And you can discuss some of those methods in the discussion boards for Chapter 17.